Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode, the first true episode of the Drunken Atheists podcast.
Hello.
And, welcome.
Exciting stuff, wouldn't you agree?
I would have to agree since I'm part of this, and it excites me to do it.
Yeah, me too. It's good stuff. Episode 1. My name is Jack, and your name is?
I'm still Brock, as of episode 1. I'm still Brock.
I'm still wondering how you got in here, but,
I'm still, you know what? I just appear here once a week, and,
once a week, what? You say?
I just, it happens. Shit happens.
I agree. Shit does happen. Would you like to take a look at the date for me? Would you read that out for me?
Well, Jack, it is, as we're speaking, Saturday, October 30th of the good year 2021.
Really?
And,
well,
yeah,
I think that's
you know
quite
what that
interesting.
means.
Yeah, I think tomorrow is a very special day, wouldn't you agree?
I would have to agree. All
right. Well, I think a good idea would be to get some stuff out of the way. Like, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
Oh, man. Now, okay.
There are many wrong answers to this, so just be aware. We might have to end.
Let me preface. I feel like there's a difference in asking somebody between what is their favorite candy and what is their favorite Halloween candy.
Okay, fair.
You know what I mean?
All right.
Because I feel like if you were to ask me what my favorite candy was, I'd have to say I like Sno-Caps, those little chocolate.
Okay, so you're a degenerate, is what you're saying.
Sure.
Okay.
And but never in my life have I gotten Sno-Caps whilst trick-or-treating.
Because nobody likes them, so they don't give them out.
Listen, man, you're not living
the
on
good
the edge
candy
enough.
is the one that they give out on Halloween. If they don't give it out, there's a reason.
What
is a good candy that they don't give out on Halloween?
That they don't give out on Halloween?
Yeah, not candy that's like rare, like the one that's like, oh, you got one of those, but like candy that they just never give out.
Peeps.
I mean, yeah, I can't say I've received a peep in my Halloween candy basket. Ever.
Did you ever have the neighbor that was like a dentist or something, and they gave you like a toothbrush or toothpaste?
Oh yeah, I've had the apple, the fucking like pre-wrapped bag with toothbrush and floss.
I remember even when I was a kid, my mother, she always told me, don't take candy from strangers, blah, blah, blah. And I always remember being confused about Halloween. But I remember whenever I would get like that pre-wrapped like plastic bag full of like loose candy, I remember being like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. Because I was just so weirded out by the idea.
Yeah, whenever you get candy that's like, doesn't have a label on it, it isn't like anything that is mass produced, it always seems sketchy.
Or those sweet grandmas that live in your neighborhood that like bake cookies and like put them in the little plastic bags, and you feel like a jerk because
I don't think I've gotten cookies, but yeah, that seems.
There was when I was growing up in one of my hometowns, there was a nice old lady who every year she would make cookies, and every year like all of me and my friends that I would go trick or treating, we'd throw them out, and I would feel like such a jerk because, she put in the time and effort to make those cookies. But, I mean, then again, she should know better,
Did you try them?
No.
You just...
No, I didn't.
Know.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, yeah, there probably would be a little sketch to get cookies in a bag on Halloween.
In just those loose plastic bags with the little, like, plastic tie at the top.
And also, like, the worst thing ever is, like, when you pull out a piece of candy and the wrapper is, like, slightly loose, like a Tootsie Roll or a lollipop or something. It's like, well, I could eat it, but
yeah, I don't want to.
It's like, why take the risk?
So anywho, my favorite candy that's given out on Halloween.
Yeah,
I gotta say, okay, that once again though, there's the difference between the like houses of the rich families that give out like the full candy bars. Or
size doesn't matter for this, really. It's
okay. So, all right, underrated classic. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Crunch Bar.
Okay, this is important. Because one thing I have noticed is I used to be the biggest Crunch Bar fanatic. It was the best chocolate bar. My eyes have since been opened, but one thing I have noticed is that over time, the quality of the Crunch Bar has declined significantly. Like they
Now,
put way less rice in the bar, and the chocolate just doesn't taste as good anymore. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
well, personally, I haven't been trick or treating in a number of years,
Right.
so in that case, I haven't had a Crunch Bar in a
You
number
haven't
of
had a
years, I
Crunch
should
Bar
say.
outside of Halloween?
I don't eat too much candy. I'm
Yeah,
not
me
big on
neither.
candy.
To
And
be fair,
even chocolate, I don't like milk chocolate. I prefer dark chocolate.
I agree with that. Um, well,
I'm
if
not
I
a
had to
huge candy
choose,
guy.
you're not a huge candy guy, yeah. Um, if I had to pick my favorite Halloween candy, I would probably pick the 100 grand. Because you
I don't
only
think I've
ever
ever had
got
one.
really, you've never had one. Well,
No.
they're good. Um, you usually only get about like two or three of them, and they're like not big. They're like one of those like small Snickers sizes. You know, they're like
I was gonna say
the size of your thumb, not even.
I always remember getting a few of them, but I don't remember ever actually having one. I remember either throwing it away or trading it.
Yeah, they are. I think it's caramel and nougat,
Hmm.
and it's surrounded by chocolate with with like the Rice Krispies on the outside. I think. Actually, let me Google this
Yeah,
because
that sounds like it goes pretty good.
let me see. 100 grand bar. It includes chocolate, caramel, and crisped rice. That's it. It's just caramel with like crunch bar around the outside, basically. So it's pretty
Hmm.
good.
I might
Um,
have to try that.
but also recently, I have, well, not like super recently, but like over time, I started to favor the Reese's like Take Five bar because it
See,
it
now
has
here's my
it's a similar
problem.
concept. Yeah, what's your
Here's
problem?
my First of all, you said the name of the company wrong.
Ah, shit, I did. Okay, I have always grown up saying Reese's. My family said Reese's. I know it's Reese's. I know it is. I always say Reese's. I feel dumb. I feel like an absolute buffoon. You should say Reese's. I will acknowledge that.
Well, it is Reese's. That's how the pronunciation is
Yeah,
quoted.
it is Reese's. You should say Reese's, but I say Reese's sometimes when it
Anywho,
just comes naturally.
anywho's. So
Yeah,
here's another question, Halloween related.
shoot.
It's a two-parter. I just realized.
Okay.
What was your favorite costume you ever dressed up as? And B, second question, if you had unlimited money, unlimited at whatever, what would you dress up as
Huh. Um,
this year?
that's an interesting question. And
So
if I could
start
dress up
off.
as anything at all
Yeah, we'll start with the first question. What was your favorite Halloween costume that you ever wore?
that I have dressed up as,
Yes.
well, I mean, a lot of them are like, I would think I might have been a biker one year. I was Elvis one year. I was just a pumpkin head guy one year. But one year, the one I remember vividly was I was a recycling bin one year, and I basically had a cardboard box around my torso, held up by two strings over my shoulders, like rope.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of nice because I could put the candy inside the box that I was carrying around, or like,
See, now that's thinking outside the box. That's a big play.
that's actually
That's how
thinking
you.
inside the box, Brooke.
Well,
But no.
I hate you.
Um,
No, that's money moves though.
But
That's the idea.
that's the thing. It was more better in concept than in practice because that year was a particularly snowy Halloween, and I vividly remember when we would always take, I don't know if you were would do this a lot, but basically instead of going like down the person's driveway, down the sidewalk, up the next person's driveway, sometimes you just like cut through a little bit, like between the yards. Um,
Yeah.
I did that a little bit, and it was a bad time to do that because it was a hill, like kind of like a hill between the two yards, and
Uh-huh.
with the box around me, going down a hill, it had the back of the box hit like the ground because of how steep it was, and it ended up flipping me over, and all the candy went into the snow, and fell out
See,
of the
that's
box.
just that hurts to hear.
It was tragic, and I never went creative like that on Halloween again. But if I had infinite money,
Infinite moolah, infinite,
infinite, infinite
ability
moolah.
to build whatever you want or be whatever you want.
I don't know. I think maybe the the little astronaut from Among Us.
Yeah, I know the guy.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, I'm
I
versed.
think I would spend about 200 grand on a realistic like NASA astronaut suit, but just paint it completely red and call myself the imposter. What about you?
Okay. So, my favorite Halloween costume I ever was. That's a good one. I remember one year. Do you remember back probably late 2000s, early 2010s when like horse masks were the cool thing?
Like what was that in? It was in like all the YouTube videos, right? Like
Yeah, it was in YouTube and like Vine.
yeah, I remember that.
Um, I ended up getting one of those, and
Yep.
I wore black pants, black shoes, black gloves, and like a black turtleneck, so it kind of went over the neck of the horse, so it actually looked like it was part of my body. And I remember that I didn't like go door to door as much that year. Instead, I would just kind of hide in people's yards and scare people as they were walking up. And I remember it was really, really strange because like I'd be in just some random person's yard scaring people, and they'd be like, "Oh, do you live here?" And I'd be like, "No, I don't even live here."
Yeah, I've
I was
always wanted to
gatekeeping.
do that.
I was gatekeeping.
You were
And then
gatekeeping.
for what I would be if I, oh my God.
You
All
asked the
right.
question. I assumed you
I
already had
know.
an answer in mind.
I should have been thinking about it. Probably okay. Here's a hot take. Ready? I don't
Okay,
like Marvel. I'm not a huge fan of it.
fair.
I
Yeah.
can understand it, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I would get a fully functioning Iron Man suit. But the problem with that is I feel like if I did get a fully functioning Iron Man suit, I'd have to also become Iron Man. Like I'd have to protect the world.
That's true. Yeah. It's like
So
if you
it's
dressed up as a fucking like 1,000 by 1,000 meter giant gold cube, for Halloween because you thought that would be interesting. You'd just be the richest man in the world, right? So
yeah. I didn't even think about that
you
idea.
could just fucking
Yeah.
cheat the system.
Let
Yeah,
me
I want to
change my
dress up as
answer.
fucking the moon. Give me the moon.
Oh. See now I'm thinking about my answer. Now Iron Man sounds
Yeah,
stupid.
well, Iron Man is better than what I fucking said. I just said Among Us.
That's also a fair point. You
At
did have a
least, at
stupid
least I got
answer.
the astronaut suit. Like a legit NASA astronaut suit would be cool.
That would be cool. There was a store nearby where I lived a few years ago, and they had it wasn't like the space suit, but it was like the jumpsuit that they wore underneath it. It was
Oh
an
yeah,
antique
like the
store.
orange one, or
No, it was like not baby blue, but it was like sky blue,
oh,
and it
okay,
had a big NASA patch on it. But it was a real one that had actually like been to space.
that's
And
really
I
cool.
went with my dad, and we were just kind of like, it's one of those things that you see, and you're like, oh, cool, it's a jumpsuit. And then you think about it for a second, like, damn, that thing's literally been to space, like somewhere that there's a 99% chance in my lifetime I will never be able to go to. You
Yeah.
know, because like I could, if I really wanted to, I could climb Mount Everest. I could go to,
Well, I
I could
mean,
go. Well,
how to the summit, or like
yeah, yeah.
you think you could pull that off? You know how much training that requires?
Well, I'm
Like,
not saying at this very moment I couldn't just pack up right now, but
okay,
after
all right.
years of what I'm saying is
Well,
the
after years
odds
of
that I
training,
could
astronauts can go to space. Is all I'm
what
saying.
I'm saying is the odds that I could climb Mount Everest are greater than the odds that I would be selected as one of the few people in human history that have been able to go to space.
I mean, honestly, I could see the argument that it would be more likely that you would go to space than climb Mount Everest in the next like 50 years. Because they're making a lot of advances. You've seen all the rockets that have been launched in like the last 2 years, right? With like
Yeah, but are you
random ass
saying that
people.
that
William
also doesn't
Shatner.
apply? Are you saying that also doesn't apply to the ability to make climbing Mount Everest easier?
Yeah, but like, who's doing that? I haven't heard of any like recent like advanced rock climbing gear that's come out.
Well, well, do you closely follow the rock climbing?
I can't say I'm in the rock climbing subreddit or anything, but no, I don't follow it. So
Well,
yeah,
then
maybe they'll just come out with a fucking like jetpack or teleporter and just fucking cheat the whole thing.
See, that's what I was gonna say, but I feel like that's cheating, right?
It is. Like the whole idea is like you're supposed to be able to conquer nature with like very minimal equipment and stuff.
Well, I'm sure as time advances, they'll figure out ways, because Everest is below freezing at its summit. They'll figure out ways to make, heat suits that, will keep you warm and keep your body temperature perfectly at 98.6, and oxygen tanks that can refuel themselves and all that fun stuff. But I feel like that would also be the same technology that they would send to space. So
yeah, that's a good point. There's probably a lot of overlap with that kind of stuff. The one thing I was thinking though is like for a Halloween costume, the astronaut suit would probably suck because it'd be so expensive and you probably wouldn't be able to fucking walk in it because it's designed to be in like the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's like incredibly hard to move in an astronaut suit on Earth.
Hang on, we got to research something. How much does an astronaut suit weigh?
I'm gonna look up how much one costs.
Oh, probably. I don't know. That's it.
I think I said 200 grand. But
an astronaut suit weighs about 100 kilograms or 220 pounds.
Okay, and it costs about $150 million.
Yeah. Technology, baby. That's really all I can say about that. That's technology. Maybe that's where Amelia Earhart ended up. Maybe she went to space.
On the moon. You think she accidentally wound up on the moon?
You never know, man. She could have flown too high.
Yeah, I mean... I'm sure that there isn't some like force of wind and physics that would prevent planes from flying into outer space or anything, but
no, she actually, you didn't know Amelia Earhart actually invented the rocket ship.
She really? I thought she invented cheesecake. Was that not true?
No, that's Marie Antoinette.
Oh, right. She said the whole thing, let them eat cheesecake.
Let them eat cheesecake.
I remember that.
Oh, man. We're going to find her one day.
Amelia Earhart, you think? There's a lot of people out there that are just dead, but their bodies haven't been found. I think there's stories to be told.
Well, I mean, she would be over 100-something years old, so...
Well, you think she's alive?
No.
Why'd you say that? Who cares if she's fucking 100 years old?
She's
a skeleton.
After reading into it a little bit, I am among the fans that she was captured by the Japanese. That's just the funniest thing to me.
I mean, I imagine
nothing against the Japanese, but like,
there's got to be some stories like that actually are true. And who's to say that the one about Amelia Earhart being captured by the Japanese is not true? You never know.
Well, it's either that. Well, remember the three options are: she either crashed in the ocean, drowned, and died. Landed on an island, died and was eaten by crabs, or was captured by the Japanese. So, I like to give her the benefit of the doubt that she survived.
I think it's probably more than three options.
Nope, that's it.
That's it?
Also, Amelia Earhart was born in 1897, so she would almost be 125 years old. Is that close? Relatively close? Yeah, that's relatively close.
Yeah, that's close. Yeah, cool. Well... All right. Well, it is Halloween tomorrow. Is there any more Halloween important stuff that we can?
What's your favorite Halloween movie? Yeah, what's your favorite Halloween?
I like. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with horror movies. I just feel like I never get to watch them. Like, I guess I'm not interested enough to like sit down and just choose to watch one. I'm not like opposed to it. If somebody said you want to watch one, I would be like, sure, but I don't know.
I don't like horror movies. I don't like Halloween as really. I guess it's not a holiday, but as a celebration.
What do you mean it's not a holiday? What the fuck you mean?
It's not a holiday.
Halloween's my favorite holiday.
Anywho, I don't like being scared for no reason. If I don't get it. I don't get the real appeal behind it.
You don't like. You don't. It's like a thrill. It's like why people go on roller coasters. isn't it? I think the same idea. It's exhilarating, adrenaline flows.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan
Probably
of it.
the same reason you jack off. Kind of, right? Get the blood flowing. No? You there?
I'm here.
You just didn't.
I'm just taking that last sentence in.
You're just all right. Well, listen.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that you like Sno-Caps, you shouldn't have really mentioned that on this podcast because in every future episode, your opinion is just going to mean jack shit because you like Sno-Caps. So
the question is, would you be annoyed if next time I showed up, I was eating Sno-Caps as we were recording?
I think I would be annoyed if you were eating anything while we were recording. That being said,
especially Sno-Caps, though.
Well, yeah, I particularly I mean, it would sound the same to me, but just the fact that I know you're eating that fucking shitty chocolate mint Oreo, whatever the fuck abomination that they serve at movie theaters.
It's not mint or Oreo.
$10. What the fuck is it then, genius? Tell me what your Sno-Cap shit is, please.
They are nonpareils.
What?
They are.
We don't speak French on this podcast. Speak English, please.
They are They are dark chocolate chips.
Dark
with little balls. I think of white chocolate. Dark chocolate chips.
They're chocolate chips?
Yes.
I thought they were balls.
No.
What? Hold on, I gotta look this up. Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
Are you shitting on me for no reason?
Oh, I thought they were balls, but okay, no, that was right. Okay, yeah. So they're dark chocolate with what? White chocolate on the top?
I think they're white chocolate. Yeah, little white chocolate.
So it's just chocolate.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's dark chocolate.
But it tastes like someone's like fucking putting sand in your mouth.
I wouldn't say that it does.
You must like the texture, right? Like just that you rub your tongue along like the white part, right? Is that the appeal?
No, I just
because like why wouldn't you eat any other kind of chocolate? I don't really get it.
I don't know because I like the taste of Sno-Caps.
What company makes those? Is it Nestle?
I think it's Nestle.
Yep. You like Crunch Bars. You like Nestle. I think most chocolate's Nestle, right? Or Hershey's. It's like the two. In America. Yeah. I mean, I know in other countries they have like Cadbury and all those other...
Well, we have Cadbury in America.
Yeah, we do. Well, they have like other... I think they use like a different kind of milk or cream or something in Europe. One video I saw basically says that to Europeans, American chocolate tastes like vomit.
Well, that's not even a fair competition because they have easy access to like Swiss chocolates and stuff like that.
Right. But it's only because we've grown up with the taste of American chocolate that like we don't think that basically.
I feel like Europeans have to validate feeling better about themselves than, Americans.
Yeah, can we just designate the next segment of this podcast to just fucking bashing Europeans and how stupid they are? Can we do that?
I'm not going to say anything that might get me in trouble in my future, but,
Well, like, I don't know. Well, we're not like being racist or anything. It's just like the fact that like Europeans like, well, what's a good example to use? Oh yeah. Well, first off, Britain. Why are you driving on the wrong side of the road? Number one. Bam. Number two. Jellied eels. You want to try those? Does that seem appetizing?
I've had it.
They boil everything. What are they doing over there?
Yeah, it's like they never invented
the monarchy. Fire. Hello, you living in like fucking 500 years ago? We have like presidents now that do like what you're supposed to do.
I wouldn't say that. They're
well,
actually, presidents are bad or kind of.
Actually, I'd rather have the fucking Queen and King of England running America right now, honestly. But
England does not have a king at this moment, Jack.
Well, you know what I mean. You know.
Is Prince Philip still dead?
Is he still? You think he came back to life?
I don't know. Has anyone checked?
Where do they bury those people? Is it like a special like tomb for like, the royal family?
Yeah, it's at I think it's called St. Paul's Cathedral? There's a special place for him.
It's probably just a giant tube that leads into like the shadow underworld government in like the middle of the earth. It doesn't, there's nobody in there.
I believe it is called St. Paul's Cathedral. Or that might have been where his funeral was.
Oh, yeah. That guy was freaking ugly.
He was not good looking.
They already brought him back to life like 3 times, it looked like.
That's true. It's called... They're buried in different locations across the United Kingdom. The Royal Vault in St. George's Chapel is where several members of the royal family have been buried over recent centuries. Blah, 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 blah. And, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so St. Paul's wasn't too often. It's in London. It's probably got something to do with it.
Yeah.
British people. Them and their silly accents.
I think we should keep the Halloween theme going for as long as we can. Because, like, any other time of the year, you can't really talk about it. Because it's like, why the fuck are you talking about Halloween in April? Doesn't make jack
Well,
shit
you never answered
sense.
my question.
What was your question?
What's your favorite Halloween movie?
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I guess I did never answer that. I don't know. Like, what is any horror movie a Halloween movie? Like, what is the
criteria?
Definition? Criteria, yeah.
I wouldn't say any horror movie, but like the slashers, I guess, are almost all Halloween movies to an extent.
I think I don't know if I've even seen a single one. I can't really think of one that I've seen.
I'm a big fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, kind of because it's just like it's really silly.
Yeah, I like the ones that like don't make any sense. So you can be like, why the fuck is this girl running to open the door that she knows the killer's right behind? Who knows?
Yeah. Well, like, so I'm trying to get around this year to watching as many of the original like killer movies as I can, like Friday the 13th and Halloween. Oh yeah, and Scream.
I mean, they announced like a ton of sequels this year.
Yeah.
Like they
because it's coming back now.
What's coming back?
All the scary stuff again. I mean, like, think of all the stuff
was it gone?
I mean, I think it changed a lot from like it went from slasher to like demonic possession for like the 2000s to recently, and then now it's kind of coming back to
I wasn't really a fan of the possession thing. Like, I mean, I get it like a little bit, but like they overdid it. I feel like that's probably why I wasn't super interested in the horror movies, is because like all the cool ones were like you're being chased with a knife or something. Like, they didn't have those for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen what's it called? Happy Death Day or whatever that one was?
Is that the one where she wakes up and it's like her birthday?
Yeah, and there's like a fucking guy with a baby mask that tries and kills her every time.
No, I have not seen that one. I heard it was
Me neither, but it looks fucking funny. They made a sequel.
I will say though, let me recommend you some movies that I actually just watched.
Okay.
They're all on Netflix. They're called Fear Street. There's I think 3 parts. There might be 4. I think there's only 3 though. And it follows like it's kind of a mix between like a slasher movie and like a possession movie. And it's basically following this town that there's like an evil curse that a witch put on it in like the Salem witch trials. That's what the third movie is. The first movie set in like 1994. The second movie set in like the 70s, I think. And then the third movie is set into like 1776 or like 1666.
It's the same town, you said?
Yeah, it's the same town, and it all follows
kind of like it, right? Isn't that the same?
Kinda. It all follows one chronological story. So like all of the characters, all tie into one another.
Do they age like the characters? I'm assuming.
Yes, yeah. Without giving too much away, it kind of there's like a certain set of characters that kind of are in all 3 of the movies to an extent, because it's either like. Well, like for the first movie, like the main, like the cop is like the cop of the town, and then the second movie, it's set at a summer camp, and he's like one of the camp counselors, and then the third movie, it's like some distant relative that he had that he is played by the same guy. It's kind of a strange movie to watch, but I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite interesting because you kind of are left at the end of the first 2 movies with like, man, what the fuck is going on? But then the third movie really ties it all together pretty well, and you're kind of like, man, that's a big ending. Nice. So yeah, get on it. It's called Fear Street.
Fear Street. All right. Well, I got a movie for you that I'm gonna recommend. It's
Mhm.
called Tusk. I don't know if you heard of that one.
I have I have seen Tusk.
You have? I haven't seen it.
Man,
I haven't even seen
it's it's
it.
quite silly.
For our audience members, would you like to give a summary of
Tusk
Tusk?
is, to its most basic form, a man finding out what he truly is in life. He's a walrus. He turns into a walrus.
I mean, I feel like a walrus sometimes. Like this morning, I was in bed and I just didn't want to get up, and I was like, like walrus noises. I threw my flipper over my, onto my alarm clock.
Yeah, but I feel like that's different from actually turning into a walrus,
Not
like
really.
this gentleman does.
If you feel like a walrus, you are a walrus. I mean, that's what furries are, right? They feel like animals, so they are animals.
We got to be careful around the furries, man. They'll get us.
Uh, on all fours.
They'll bite, man. They'll get our asses.
They'll go primal on our asses.
They'll get medieval on our asses, man.
Uh-oh. Man. You got any Halloween parties going on?
Let's see, Halloween parties. I don't know. Not a big party guy. I went to one last night, and it was kind of
Oh,
just
really?
like it wasn't so much of a Halloween party as it was just like a party that people were kind of dressed up as. But then again, it's like the normal costumes that you would see in people our age,
So it's
where
just
it's
the
like,
it's just the typical party, but like people who are like half-ass dressed up.
yeah, I mean, the guys were dressed up as fucking whatever. A lot of Playboy Bunny, Hugh Hefner guys in like the robe with the sailor cap.
Oh, yeah.
And all the girls, it's like Mean Girls. I think it's Mean Girls that I'm thinking of, where it's like, oh, some girls just wear lingerie and animal ears, and they're like, oh, I'm a rabbit. It's like, no, you're
You're
just
not a
naked.
fucking rabbit.
Yeah. No, because I don't go to parties. I'm not big into it, so it was kind of just a right place, right time thing. I just ended up there,
Yeah, me neither. Like
and
I was thinking like if I was invited this weekend because I didn't really have much to do, I would go, but I haven't
mhm.
heard of any. Or well, no, I have
Yeah.
heard of some, but I have not been invited to this. So
Well, do you have a costume this year?
that's the thing. I don't, so I wouldn't even really be able to go without like going out and buying one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wonder
But yeah,
what I could scrounge up from my room. I
you
don't
should
really
be a
have
recycling
any.
can.
I I have a recycling bin. I could fucking scissor out some
Well,
holes maybe.
the question is it going to snow
I
on
don't
Halloween for
I
you?
don't think it's gonna snow this year, but
Well, then,
maybe.
I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So, like I said, Halloween party just kind of showed up there. It was just a typical boring, party because I don't drink or do anything like that. So it kind of I just end up standing around, and it's cool talking to people and getting to know them. But to an extent, it's just kind of like I could have been doing this at any other location, and I have to be here with blaring music that's giving me a headache that I don't really like,
Yeah.
and
Are you
sweaty people.
like overly critical of people playing music? Because like, well, like what music they're playing? Because you're a big music guy, right?
I'm not. I don't really judge people for the music they listen to. There's everyone has their limits. Like, there's one artist that a lot of people I know listen to that I can't stand. She's just very obnoxious.
Would you like to name her?
No.
Why not?
And the problem is, because I'm living in Tennessee and Nashville's around me, everybody's putting out their own music. And to an extent, a lot of people are good, but also to that same extent, a lot of people, just sound like everyone else.
Right.
So when somebody's like, oh, listen to my music, I'm like, okay, I'm prepared to hear the same shit I've heard 1,000 different times, you know? And, yeah, but I'm not too critical of people's music. I get that people have their own thing. But like I said, to an extent, if it's like, I think a lot of music, hot take that I'm sure, hopefully a lot of people can get
Okay,
behind.
audience
A,
prepare. Incoming hot
a
take.
lot of incoming hot take. A lot of the music that's being put out nowadays is very, very similar, save for like a few. You know,
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think one thing I've noticed, like a lot of the times I'll go on Spotify and I'll listen to like the top 100 or top 50, like in the US charts or whatever. And
yeah,
like, if I just put it on shuffle, like you get a lot, like a lot more variation than like you would expect, based on like if you just put on the radio in your car on like
Mm-hmm.
the popular pop channel or
Well,
whatever.
I think it's definitely been better than like, 2000, whatever, 18, 17, when literally
Yeah,
everything was identical sounding. But I
yeah,
will say, like, for one example, I don't love, like the music that people like, Lil Nas X put out. But I will say Lil Nas X as not just like a musician, but a performer, and just his influence in, so not social media, but the world that he has is kind of incredible. And I'm really proud of him isn't the word, but I'm kind of inspired by him a little bit.
I mean, he started out as a kid that just posted meme videos on YouTube, like GTA 5 clips, I think it was. So
Yeah, and
that doesn't
even
seem
even
far off from
people,
what I could do, you know?
even it's that saying where it's like even bad press is good press. Like I mean,
Oh yeah, he got bad
he
press.
gave he the guy gave a lap dance to the devil and he gave birth to his album, and everyone was up in arms saying, "Oh, this is disgusting," blah 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 blah. Point is, I mean, everyone knows his name. You
He
can't
gamed
go
the
to a single
system.
person. Yeah, he's beat the game. You can't go to a single person nowadays and have them say, "Oh, I have no idea. I don't know anything about the guy."
Right.
And I will say, his big hit, Old Town Road, as cheesy as it was, it came out at the perfect time.
Yeah, it was
And that's what a lot of music is. It's just a lot of
it's a
right,
great
like I
song.
said. Yeah. So I will say for him, as an example, it's very kind of refreshing to see people that are in that limelight really pushing the boundary of like, I'm I'm supposed to be performing and doing what my fans like, but fuck you, I'm also going to do what I like, you know,
Hmm.
and have him be like, if you don't like it, I don't need you. And I think people really respect that about him in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now here's another reverting back to the main topic of this whole thing.
Yeah, go for it. I'm trying to think of as many Halloween related things as possible.
What's the best Halloween song?
It's got to be the Monster Mash, right?
It's got to be, right?
It's
It's
got
just classic.
what other there's the spooky scary skeletons one that's good, but like,
Ghostbusters goes hard.
Ghostbusters is also pretty fucking good, yeah.
I remember when I was a real youngster, and I was probably four or five in elementary, like preschool, kindergarten.
Yeah.
The preschool I went to, they had a CD of, like the popular Halloween songs like over the years, and the first track was Ghostbuster. First track was Monster Mash. Second was Ghostbusters. Third was Thriller. Thriller is also a great song.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's a good one. Yeah.
and I remember, and the Time Warp by Rocky Horror was also on there for some reason, which I guess is kind of a Halloween movie, but also I don't know. Um, but I remember that was the first time I ever heard "Devil Went Down to Georgia" because my elementary or preschool teacher had never like listened to the song before and forgot that they blurt out, "I told you once, you son of a bitch," and the whole class was like, "What's a son of a bitch?" And our teacher was so fucking
Uh-oh.
just yeah,
Someone's getting fired.
yeah, man. And I remember the
Yeah.
first time I ever watched the Thriller music video. Like, my dad showed me it at like 11 o'clock at night when I was like 5. I was fucking losing my shit.
Why? Because it was scary?
Yeah, for a 5-year-old, yeah, man.
For a 5-year-old, yeah, I guess it would be. It's got like werewolves
At
with
at
mummies
eleven
and stuff.
o'clock at night, my
Yeah.
bedtime was
Oh yeah,
8.
11 o'clock was like unheard of at 5-year-old,
Yeah,
five
my
years old.
bedtime was 8. I remember we were staying up. We were watching Survivor, and he was like, "Hey, it's Halloween. You like Michael Jackson, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You ever heard Thriller?" And I was like, "Of course I heard Thriller." And he goes, "You ever seen the music video?"
Have you seen Thriller?
Yeah, and so we walked up to our little office. This was back when I lived in not the nicest part of my town with very little money, and we turned on our dial-up computer, dial-up modem, heard that sweet, sweet dial-up sound,
Oh, I
logged
can
on
hear
to
it now.
YouTube, logged on to YouTube. I was probably no, I might have been a little older because this when did YouTube come out?
Yeah, I don't know if a
2006.
5-year-old would know how to use a computer.
Well, he was using it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it wasn't YouTube. Maybe it was like Michael Jackson's website. Whatever. Video comes up and it's like that. Hey, man. Video comes up and I remember he was like forcing me to sit there and watch it. So that's how that's the first time I saw the Michael Jackson Thriller video.
Yeah, I remember my grandmother used to have this like Halloween decoration that you know those ones where like you press the button and it like moves around and plays like a song or something.
Mm-hmm.
There was one of those for the Monster Mash, and that was pretty funny. I always liked that one.
The Monster Mash is just a classic.
It is like it sometimes like I hear it and I'm like, okay, it's kind of cringe, but like at the same time, it's the Monster Mash. You gotta do the Monster Mash.
I think that's for me every time I hear it. Like the first 10 seconds, I'm like, oh, it's the Monster Mash. And then the second that I hear, they did the mash, I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking into this.
Your arms are in the air at that point.
Yeah, man.
You've done a complete 180.
Oh, man. The Monster Mash goes hard.
It does. You're a big fan of like remixes of like classic songs like that?
I will say the one remix that I've been hearing a lot recently is I always feel like somebody's watching me remixed into Thriller. Have you heard that one? That's going around like the internet. Like
I think I might have actually. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it sounds like I would have.
It's the chorus of "I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me," which is sung by Michael Jackson.
Right.
And it kind of like fades a little bit, and then slowly it builds up, and all you hear is ba-da, ba-ba-ba, like that piano, not piano, but key opening.
Yeah.
And it just goes.
Yeah, that sounds.
So that's what I've been listening to.
That sounds really nice. I mean, the Spooky Scary Skeletons one is like, I think the remix is probably more popular than the original.
Well, I would say so. It's a lot more upbeat.
Yeah, it's more like party-ish, you know. You'd hear that at a party and it'd be probably better. But yeah, I don't know. You got any like Halloween stories? Like I feel like I have a lot of like Halloween just random stories and stuff. That
oh man, you just like unlocked a memory.
Ones. Yeah,
so
I unlocked a memory.
So hopefully in the future, our good friend Akash, he will come onto the podcast.
Oh, did you go trick or treating with him?
He will. Yes, I did when we were. Let's see, probably freshmen in high school, maybe 8th grade. And he will back me up on this story because it fucking scared the shit out of us. And we were walking. We had gone to a friend's house because we were gonna go get him and go trick or treating because he had a neighborhood that he lived in.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, he couldn't go out. I think he was doing homework or something or whatever. And it was late at night. And as we were going door to door, we realized it was probably 10 at night or something like that. We had realized that this was like the neighborhood that does Halloween for like kids at like 3 p.m.
Oh.
You know, so all the doors, like the lights were either out or like they wanted nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And we were walking up this like side street, and there's one other guy that's kind of like at the other end of the street, like walking towards us, and he's got a hood up, and he's dressed in like all black, and he's like slowly like walking at us, and we're walking towards him, and as we're getting closer, he's like picking up his pace, and he starts like running at us. And of course, we're losing our shit, so we turn around and run back to our friend's house, and we get inside. And now, at the time, Akash and I, we get in the house, and Joe, the guy's family, was still up. And we were like, "Oh man, there's a guy out there that was like chasing us, and we don't know where he came from. We thought he had a knife at the time, which was he might have. I don't know, man. But we ended up running back in the house, locking the door behind us. And so the kid whose house we were at is sitting on the couch with like his mom and his sister, and then his mom's, I think it was like her boyfriend or fiance at the time, and the fiance or boyfriend, he makes all of us go to like the back of the room, and he fucking pulls out a gun and is standing like at the front window, like looking out the window to make sure he didn't chase us back to the house.
God.
And we never heard anything else besides that. Now, granted, it was probably just some, high school senior that was fucking with us, but like I remember that was like one of the first moments that I was like, man, shit's about to go down.
Yeah, I always liked like when it kind of feels like there's a different air during Halloween when you're a kid. Like it's like
Yeah.
anything
No, of
could
course.
happen. I
Uh-huh.
remember vividly like there used to be a bunch of like older kids that would go around the neighborhood I always went trick-or-treating in, dressed in like those black nylon suits that cover your whole body.
Hmm.
Um, and like they would just like hide in bushes and just kind of run across the street really fast at random points. And like they would never say anything, so you didn't really know who they were, even though you kind of had a hunch. You were never like actually sure. That was
Yeah.
cool. One story I have in particular is like I remember me and I think two of my friends. We went to we were just going through the neighborhood and we went up to one guy's house and he was sitting there. Um, but like none of the lights were on for some reason, like leading up to his house, even though like they were there. Like it was just kind of like one like dimly lit above the door. None
Hmm.
in the house, none outside other than that one light. And we debated whether or not we actually wanted to go up there because like we didn't really see anybody at first. Um, but we went up there, and it turns out that the thing we thought was just like like a scarecrow type like fake like uh, decoration on the deck was the
Hmm.
guy like in a full costume with like a scary mask on, and he's sitting down in the rocking chair and he moves and he has a knife in his hand. And like my friend's like, oh, it's just like he got up and he was walking towards us, and my friend's like, oh, well, it's just a fake knife. And I shit you not, he takes the knife and like as fast and hard as he could, stabs the deck in the wood, and the knife is stuck in the wood on the deck. And we were like, oh fuck, and
You're about
we
to
were
get
like
got on
paralyzed. Like
Halloween.
we were like, do we run? Like like there were people like kind of around, so like he couldn't murder us, could he? Um, but then he reached into like his pocket and like pulled out like a Tootsie Roll or something and gave one to each of us, and then we fucking booked it. Like we did
Halloween is
not
just
want
made by
anything to do with
adults to
that guy.
bully kids.
I mean,
Halloween is fake.
I'm probably gonna. I already hate children, so I'm gonna enjoy Halloween as an adult. I guarantee it.
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna get on that train. Like I'm definitely fucking with kids when I
Yeah.
um
Right now we're just
you
in the
know.
weird middle ground where like we still kind of celebrate Halloween, but not really. We just go to parties or something and like but like once you're an adult and you actually like live on your own, like oh yeah, bingo.
Well, yeah, now it's that weird age where it's like if you do shit like that during Halloween, you're that weird 20-year-old something, early 20s kid that just fucking scares kids because he hates them. But then when
Yeah.
you're like, in your 30s or 40s and you're like a dad already or something, you're like, oh, you're silly old Mr. Whatever, and you're just scaring the kids for the funnies of it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, I'm definitely getting on that train when I get older.
Yeah. There's always like I always love like the part on Halloween where you have to like guess which houses you want to go to or not. And the one thing is like
Hmm.
my house, um I don't know if you've like seen a picture of it, but basically our house is small. Like we don't have an upstairs, but
Right.
the yard we have is like really big compared to all the other houses in the area, and it's like it's open too. Like it's not like trees around. Like the yard is like all open pretty much. So if
Uh-huh.
you're walking by, there's like a really long driveway leading up to this tiny house with this huge yard. And I feel like it just must seem really ominous to people because we always put out candy in the bowl, but like it's rarely ever taken, even though like there's plenty of people that walk down that street. I think it must just
Hmm.
look really scary, but it's hard to tell when it's your house, you know?
Yeah. Well, it kind of the same thing with me in a way where it was like my first house I lived in when I was really like young. I lived in like a really bad neighborhood, so houses were kind of on top of each other, and
Right.
so always had somewhere to go trick or treating, accompanied by adults, of course. But when I moved to the house that we're in now, we're kind of more on like a main road. So it went from like one year getting trick or treaters by the hundreds versus now we were lucky to even get one every year. And I remember one year my mom, she bought like a bag of Halloween candy and she's like, don't eat it, it's for the kids. And I ended up eating all of it because I was like, listen, we're not going to get anyone. And we didn't, So, the most we even do for decorations is we have like a little like shrub box out in front of our house, like in front of the door. And we put like those fake cobwebs on it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like we always do, like we have a bowl that we always use, and we have like it's one of the the ones with the hands that like grab you if you try to reach on the pole.
Those give me the heebie-jeebies so bad.
That's what we have. We use that.
I hate those.
It's like I gotcha.
I hate those things. Oh my god.
But yeah, we usually get like a bag of candy. But the thing is, we always end up having to eat it all because like nobody ever comes. So I think what we should do is just like buy like a single like large size Hershey bar and just put it in the bowl. So that way if somebody comes, like they were here. Because I just want proof at this point to see if anybody actually came to our house on Halloween. Because sometimes like you see the bowl, and it's like it looks like nobody took anything, but like it's hard to tell with so many different pieces of candy in there.
Maybe you should put the bowl out by like your mailbox.
I guess, but like it's just not really I don't know. It's not like a place you'd expect a bowl to be.
Here's a big question. Did you ever get to a point when like excuse me for using the term, but saying trick or treat was cringe to you?
Like when you go up to the door?
Yeah.
No. That's an obligation. You have to say trick or treat. I always say it.
I know a lot of people that would just go up to the door and like ring the doorbell.
Where the fuck's the candy?
Yeah, they would refuse to say it. And
it's like I remember, you should not, as an adult, you should not give the kids that don't say.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There were multiple occasions where like I went to the door with my friends when I was younger and they didn't say it and they didn't give us any candy. Yeah. And it's like, you're just a jerk. Just say the fucking line.
It's selfish. A tradition. You should get, it is tradition. I've got a question for you. Were you ever, I mean, you don't have to do it regularly, but did you ever take, like, if you go up to a house and the people aren't there, they just leave the bowl out? Did you ever, like, and it's like take one, did you ever like dump the whole thing into your bag?
I never dumped the whole thing, but I would like, I'd go through and pick out like 2 or 3 things.
Right.
I never was like a jerk about it, but like if the bowl was full, I'd probably take like 3 or 4 things. If it was kind of like halfway, I'd take 2 or 3 and then, like by the end of the night.
I think that was what I did as well, but there was one time where I remember the bowl was like, it only had like 10 things left, and I just, like everyone in my group had already taken from it, so I was just like, fuck it. I just dumped the thing in my bag.
I feel like that makes the homeowner kind of feel accomplished in a way. Like,
to see that the bowl's empty.
Yeah, kids wanted to come to my house and take my candy. That's cool.
Well, I mean, if they came home and they saw the bowl and they thought that, how do they know it wasn't just one kid that took the entire bowl?
Well, that's something they just have to be mentally prepared for.
I guess now they have like ring doorbells and stuff, right? You can just look.
Yeah, but also if you're like even for me, I don't like Halloween. But I'm still gonna, like, if kids knock on my door, I'm still coming to the door and giving the kids the candy. That's the most fun part of it. You don't just leave a bowl out. That's not cool.
Do you think you're gonna dress up? Like, if you're just staying home and giving out the candy, would you dress up?
Nah.
Because I know some people
maybe I throw on a mask when I go to the door. But
yeah.
I would usually just be in sweatpants or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, well, you keep saying that Halloween, you're not a fan of it. What is your favorite holiday then? You don't even consider it a holiday. I don't know what that means, but
my favorite holiday?
Yeah. If it's not Halloween.
Besides my birthday?
Your birthday is not a holiday. Just to let you know.
Fuck you.
It is not a holiday.
I really fuck with Christmas. I'm a real big Christmas guy.
You fuck with Christmas? I have no problems with any. Well, that's not true. If you pressed me, I could rant about most holidays for at least an hour. But
yeah, I could too. I think the thing that gets me about Christmas is partially that like a lot of the world is kind of just like, hey, it's Christmas, be cool to people, and that's really cool. But there's just something, and here's the exact reason why. There's something about Christmas Eve, like 10 o'clock at night, just sitting outside, like watching the snow come down with no sound in the world. There's just something feeling you get, even when you're older, and you're like, Christmas is just a corporate scam to make people buy shit, blah, 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 blah. There's just something about it.
It does
You
feel
know
it
that.
feels comfy, you know? Like I feel like
Yeah,
as a man, like, you know, I rarely feel like super
comfy.
comfortable at any time. But like
Yeah.
just when you're home for the holidays and like, you know, you don't have school or work or anything like
Well,
looming
that's why I
over
was
you.
saying it's like if you sit outside late at night, on Christmas Eve, it's just you.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
it's
that
just
too. That feels really nice.
and it's like a head empty, nothing but vibes situation.
Yeah.
But it's really cool.
I do love that.
Plus,
Yeah.
I prefer the cold weather because a lot of my best outfits are cold weather
Oh,
outfits.
you just love the excuse to wear like the long sleeve shirts and stuff.
Well, where I am right now, it's kind of like cooler today and like a little rainy, so I am really hyped to wear like a jacket or whatever because I love my jackets that I have.
Yeah, I
But
agree. I feel way more comfortable like whenever I'm wearing like a sweatshirt or something. I don't know why, but like it
mhm.
just feels more comfortable.
But I will say one of I think my top 10 most favorite things in the world is going around on like the week of Christmas late at night with snow on the ground and just seeing all of like the Christmas lights up. I don't love houses that overdo it with like, the big light that shines on the front of their house and it does like an LED display. We
Yeah.
always just did like the lights that go around like the gutter, and that's it. And it
Hmm.
looks so good. There's just something about those like soft white lights. Ugh.
Yeah.
Now, now I'm now I'm
We do
getting
pretty good
energetic
with
about Christmas.
decorations. Oh, come on. It's only Halloween. You got a little while to wait. And you got Thanksgiving
I
too.
gotta there's I gotta go food shopping today, and the closest place to me is a Target, and they have a fine food section, and they already are putting Christmas stuff up as I I went last week,
That's
and
insanity. That's
yeah,
outrageous.
well,
Okay,
it's what
well,
happens.
you know what time of the year is it appropriate to put out let's start with Halloween. When do you put out the Halloween decorations?
So I dated a girl who was dying on the hill. She loves Halloween. She would die on the hill that the day it hits August 1st is fine for Halloween.
No.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's what
but
I
that
said.
that
No, I
bitch
said
that
she's
bitch
insane.
wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see.
no.
Time of the year
What
for Halloween.
yeah.
It's September.
Do you have a
Not
date or
Sept-
just any time in September?
September. Let's see. 30 days have September. September 15th. I like a good month and a half buffer of
Middle of
selling.
September? Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's for most holidays. I like a good month and a half buffer. You can start
okay.
setting up. Okay, no. Here's the right question. Are you talking about setting up decorations at the house or selling stuff in stores?
No, I don't fucking care what stores do because you don't have to buy the
Okay.
stuff. You buy the stuff when you
So
want to buy it.
Halloween decorations should not be up until at least October 5th.
Really? Okay. So for me, I'm just gonna run through it. October 1st is like any time in October, I think is acceptable for Halloween decorations. Um,
Hmm.
as soon as it's after October and people get fucking lazy and don't take down their Halloween decorations, that's what kind of
Yeah, that
irks me
bothers
even
me.
more.
That bothers me a
It's
lot.
Thanksgiving. Take away the fucking zombies and skeletons. You can leave the pumpkins, the leaves.
Hmm.
Like it's still fall, but that shit, like it's Halloween's over. You gotta wait till next year.
And see now, Christmas is kind of weird with decorations because there's the two schools of thought where it's
Oh
like
yeah,
my house where you just put up the lights and that's fine, or there's the houses that have like the giant inflatables on the lawn. I feel
yeah.
like if you're in the first school, just the lights, you can do it the day after Thanksgiving, and that's fine. If you're doing the inflatables on the lawn, you gotta wait until like at least
Like the
the
week.
beginning of December. Yeah.
No, yeah, all right, yeah. Christmas is like the biggest offender for that stuff. I think, yeah, anytime like after like Black Friday or like
Yeah, that's a
the
fair
week the week
answer.
after Thanksgiving, like just give it a couple days and then like you can start putting up the Christmas stuff if you want,
But I will
preferably
say,
December. But
I will
no,
say, if you are one of those houses that goes hard for like decorations for Christmas with the big Santa inflatable, like the Santa helicopter, you got to take it down as soon as Christmas is over. You got to
yeah,
take
so
it
that's
down
what I
before
was
New
getting
Year's.
to is that after
Because the
Christmas,
most depressing thing in the world is like the weeks after Christmas where the snow's starting to melt a little bit and the ground is just really wet and it's just a deflated Santa on the front lawn. That's really sad to me. It makes me really upset.
That's like the biggest irk I have with Christmas is that I love it. Listen to the music, have all the decorations, the tree. After Christmas, you have until New Year's. Get that shit down. I don't want to see it in February. Like, get it down. I don't want to see it.
I think lights have a little more leeway on either end because, they're just lights.
We actually left our Christmas lights up because we have a giant spruce tree in our front yard. And one year we put them up and we just never took them down because it was a pain in the ass to put them up. It would be even worse to take them down. It's just too big. So what we do is we usually just unplug like the cable that goes across our lawn. And then put it back up whenever it's Christmas.
Right.
But even then we sometimes we just leave the tree lights on for, another few weeks or whatever.
I think in both cases, Halloween and Christmas, I think the less is better. I think just do the lights.
You don't like the Santa helicopters?
I like it. I like the concept of it, but seeing it kind of just looks tacky. It looks really silly.
Did you ever have I don't know if this is it's probably not a popular thing. They have there's this one house in our town that every year around Christmas they would have their own radio broadcast and you could tune
like a light show. Yeah, that makes me really uncomfortable. I don't like that houses do that. That makes me really uncomfortable.
It's like the house is talking to you.
The closest that we've had to inflatables on the lawn is we have these little. They're in the shape of reindeer. They're made out of chicken wire, but they have lights in them. So the lights take the shape of reindeer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those are cool because they're kind of minimalist. They're not.
They're not. Are they big lights? Because I feel like it'd be hard to notice that it's a reindeer if it's small.
It's kind of Hold on, let me see if I can send you a picture. Hold on.
Actually, you want to do a pee break real quick? We can cut this out of the video. I gotta pee.
Hang on, I got a picture for you.
I gotta pee. Just wait until I get back. Okay.
Okay. Well, hello, internet. I guess it's just you and me right now, huh? How you been? I missed you. I've been on you for quite a number of years, and you've been good to me. Hopefully I'll be good to you. Internet's tough, huh? I hope everybody's gonna enjoy their spooky season, and I hope everybody's gonna get a lot of candy, and if you're dressing up, don't do anything racist or offensive, or do. You know what? I can't stop you. Get whatever you want. Go to a party or don't. Whatever you're comfortable with. Do some Halloween stuff. Bob for apples. Is that still a thing? Do people still do that? I don't know. I don't think I've ever done it. Too much water. Everything gets all soapy wet. I don't like that. As we're saying, Halloween's kind of a weird, not holiday, but a holiday at the same time.
I've returned. I hope you know I'm not actually cutting that out of the video because it's funnier that we just do a pee break and don't cut it out. I think
hope that's you understand that I just had an entire moment with the internet. Look at what I said.
I hope you understand that I can hear every word you're saying because I don't take my headphones out. But
good. I'm glad. Look at the reindeer I sent.
Did you text it to me or what?
It's in the Discord.
Oh, it's in the Discord. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have one or two of those, I think.
Yeah, so they're cool because they're really minimalist, and
are those the ones that move, or are they just
No, they're static. Man, we're really off topic here, huh? We're talking about
we can go wherever the wind takes us. I think
that's true,
I don't know.
Man. But then we're going to be out of ideas for Christmas, and then during Christmas we're going to talk about Halloween.
Fucked. Well, here. So we could just talk a little more openly about the podcast in general now anyway. We don't really know where we want this to go, right? But I feel like this episode was a lot more grounded and just genuine conversation as opposed to shits and giggles. But I think there's a a good mix that you can have.
I was gonna say there's a line where, sometimes it'll be funny, silly stuff, and sometimes it'll be honest conversations like this where we just.
I don't think there's any need to like restrict it.
No, why not? I mean, let's just be friends.
Let it. Well, nobody said we're friends, but like.
Well, I thought.
Are you saying that the audience is your friend? I don't fucking like the audience. Why the fuck are you listening to us? Go away.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, I have you right there in the audience. I don't fucking like you. Go away.
You in the audience. Michael, your hair looks nice today, sir. Did you just get it cut?
Well, Michael, I think your fucking hair looks ugly, and you should probably get it cut. See, Brock,
are we gonna make shirts?
You can make things, and I can destroy things.
Are we gonna make shirts
for the podcast?
Yeah, why not?
Any kind of merchandise. Yeah, I mean, it gives us money. I don't know why people buy merchandise. I don't get it. Like, who has the money to like? Oh, my favorite internet creator Dream is he has a shirt. Oh my god, I need to buy everything that they sell. Who has the money for that?
You're going to eat those words when we get Dream on the podcast.
You think Dream's coming on the podcast? How many people do you think are dressing up as Dream for Halloween? Too many, but there's probably a lot.
I feel like there would be more last year.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, it's not like a terrible costume choice. It's funny. I can see myself doing it. Squid Game? Oh my! I actually like the design of like the PlayStation logo people. I think that looks kind of cool.
The squids, if you will.
It's better than fucking like, was it 2 years ago that Suicide Squad came out and everybody was Harley Quinn?
There's a lot of people that are Harley Quinn again this year.
Why?
Like multiple people. I don't know, because I guess a lot of people are doing couples costumes.
If you're gonna do it, you have to have every girl in your like clique or whatever that you're going with for Halloween do a different version. Like, don't all buy the same.
I know a lot of girls that are doing couples costumes with like their girlfriends, where one of them's the female version of the Joker and one of them's Harley Quinn. It's fine.
Yeah, like that's cool.
I know a lot of people are doing the Scarlet Witch from WandaVision.
Oh, right.
And like Wanda from WandaVision.
Vision is actually like a pretty hard costume to pull off unless you just like buy a mask. Visions. Yeah, I don't think anybody, because it's hard, like it's you'd have to do like really intricate face paint to make it look good.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Halloween, man. What a time of year.
I love it. I even though I don't participate in it like this, like I haven't really for a couple of years, but I still like it. I like the air that it brings. I think it's like there's not enough like weird like like when you read like those weird like stories on the internet, like conspiracies or like just like creepy stories. I don't know if you've like had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, like Amelia Earhart.
Not really, but I guess sure. But like there's like subreddits and stuff that have like just like spooky stories and stuff. And like when I don't know, like that feeling that you get when you read those, it's like cool, but like that never happens in real life because real life doesn't have all this like weird, like unexplainable stuff as much. Besides like that fucking random ass monolith that appeared in like the desert and everybody was freaking out. And also, didn't the government confirm that aliens were real this year? I think that happened.
They didn't confirm they were real. They were just like, hey, here's this video of an unidentified flying object, and we have no fucking idea what it is. Do with that information what you will.
Yo, if anybody lost their alien, call the government. We you need to get that back.
Mm-hmm. This year's kind of wacky couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know if we get censored for talking about COVID, but who gives a shit? It's like how do you not talk about it? It's like it consumed the earth for like 2 years.
It still is.
It still is. Yeah, I can't freaking go inside a place without wearing a mask in my city. So.
Luckily, it's a little more lax down here in the South, but even still, I mean, I still wear a mask to a lot of places.
You think someone's dressing up on Halloween as like the COVID patient with like
Or as the COVID itself, the ball with
somebody's yeah, people are definitely doing that.
That would be funny to see. That would be really funny to see. Like you go to a house party dressed as COVID itself, and you keep telling people you have COVID.
Hey girl, can I infect you? I'm COVID.
Mm.
And then they walk away.
Spooky. Yeah, man. Crazy couple of years. And it's, it's doing its thing. The world's spinning still, so can't complain too much.
What can we rant about that's completely off topic from Halloween?
Why instruments are still so overpriced.
Go for it.
Instruments are disgustingly overpriced. There are, like I said, I live near Nashville, so there's a billion guitar shops near me. And there's no reason that a block of wood with wiring and, pieces of steel on the neck of it should cost $4,000. I don't care if it's made in America or handmade or
why does it? Do you think? Why does it cost that much? Because people will buy it.
Because people will buy it because it's a name brand like Gibson and Fender and.
So why don't you just buy the shitty one that's made the same way? Or the cheaper one? Sorry,
a lot of people do.
Necessarily shittier, or
like
if you buy a $500 guitar versus a $4,000 guitar, if it's made of steel and wood and string, like isn't it the same?
Well, because that's what's really funny. That's because that shit that happens is that sometimes on some occasions, those $500 guitars are better sounding than like $10,000 guitars. And it's really funny when you play it for somebody that owns one of those $10,000 guitars and they just get really like fucking fed up because they have to feel like they need to defend their purchase, which I guess they do. But it's like, you're dumb as fuck. You're just an idiot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from my experience, I know that humans can be quite the suckers when it comes to buying, ridiculously expensive items or large quantities of not so expensive items.
Mm-hmm.
Just for audience clarity.
Go on.
I would like to inform the audience that I may or may not have spent an absorbent amount of money on Hearthstone.
See, absorbent is, it's a bad word to hear, especially when you're hearing money. But I think you should tell them.
What?
I think you should tell them the exact amount.
How much? No, if I say how much, that makes it seem like I'm in the 1%. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not. I'm broke. I'm like barely middle class. I'm in college. I have to pay debts. I'm probably going to end up on the street because of how much money I spent on that game.
Think of a big number. It's still bigger than that.
That's not true. Think of a big number. Think of, okay, if I told you I was buying virtual card packs on the internet and I spent a lot of money on it, whatever number that turns out to be, multiply it by
10.
Well, let me just do some math. 30. Well, I mean, I guess it depends how big the number is, but the number I thought of,
point being,
multiply it by about 30, and then that's the number I spent. But this is the one. Hold on, I need to justify it. This was over a period of about 5 years, so it's not as bad, but it's still fucking.
It's terrible. Enough money for a high school senior to buy their first car.
It cost more than my car did, so I know that for a fact.
Oh baby, you sweet. Sweet.
Well, we just lost all the viewers to my podcast, so there we go.
This is actually just a Hearthstone podcast. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Today we'll be talking about Jiraxis.
Actually, there's a new card that was released today. You want to review it with me? Here,
Not at all.
No, you got to review it. Yeah. I just need your opinion. By the way, I have not bought anything from this game in at least over a year. Or actually, I might be almost.
Well, it's the first step to addiction is knowing you have a problem, right?
I know I have a problem, and I've stopped. I don't plan to come back to this game because I don't know if you've been following it, but Blizzard as a company has taken a massive dumpster fire.
I was going to say, so I hear it's kind of falling apart.
The sexual assault allegations have torn it apart. They literally had to rename the fucking McCree cowboy guy from Overwatch because the guy who it was named after was one of their employees who was a sexual assault harasser or something. So yeah, that's not a good look. But yeah, take a look at this card right here. What do you think? It's for our audience.
Mad Bomber.
It's an 8-mana 9/8 neutral epic minion from the upcoming Hearthstone set named Maddest Bomber, and its battle cry is deal 12 damage randomly split among all other characters. To a lot of you, that's going to mean fucking absolutely nothing.
So I feel like I don't know how to feel about it. I feel like it's one of those things that if you and I were to play, I'd be eating shit really badly, and then you'd whip that out at the end and just fucking destroy me, and I'd get really mad at you.
I mean, this card is trash because it can hit your heroes as well because it's characters and not minions, which means it's basically never going to see play. I could be wrong.
God bless.
God bless.
All right, Jack. What do you say we wrap this one up for today?
Yeah, it seems about we've reached the point where we're talking about things that even I don't fucking care about at all, and I'm sure you don't either. So that's probably a good sign. For the first episode, though, I think pretty solid. Again, we appreciate any feedback that anybody wants to give us. This is probably an episode where like nobody's going to view it within like the first week of uploading it, besides like us and our close group of friends. But like if it ever did get popular, it's like, oh, you got to watch the first episode, you know. Like
it's the lore.
Then this is the episode that people in the future are going to base like all the other podcast episodes off of. It's like, wow, look at how much they improved, or like, wow, look at this massive downhill slope that occurred as they uploaded more episodes. Which I don't know.
Alrighty,
one of those is going to happen.
Well, either way, so at least people will be listening to us ramble on about shit that's not necessary to hear about.
True. All right. Well, do you want to do the thing where we simultaneously end the podcast?
Well, only if you really end it this time. You don't prank me.
Well, I would never tell a lie.
Alrighty. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, have a good Halloween. Like seriously, like just this year, everybody needs a little more happiness and joy. So just have fun. I don't know, do whatever you want.
Or if you're listening at a later date. Hope you're ready for Thanksgiving and or Christmas or St. Patrick's Day.
Easter, 4th of July, your birthday, depending on
Halloween again.
Halloween 4 times in the future. Also, the incoming apocalypse.
Yeah, I think we covered most of it.
That's a good topic for next episode. I think is just talking about the inevitable doom of the Earth.
Okay.
All right. So you want to end on stop?
Sure. All right.
3, 2, 1, stop.